It began on a late spring night. The windows were open, a gentle breeze mingling with the low hum of the ceiling fan, filling the silence that had grown between us. I sat on the edge of the bed, scrolling through my phone, pretending not to notice Lily lying on her side, her back turned to me as always. That distance, both physical and emotional, had become heavier than silence itself. For months, maybe even years, I'd been the one reaching out, trying to remind her that we were more than just two people sharing bills under the same roof. But lately, every attempt ended the same: a sigh, a turn away, or the excuse that she was tired. At first, I chalked it up to stress. Then I began to wonder if the problem was me. That night, I leaned closer and kissed her shoulder. Without turning, she murmured, "Ethan, stop. Not tonight." I paused, staring at her outline in the dim light. "It's always not tonight. Lily, do you even care anymore?" Her response was a quiet, bitter laugh. "You sound pathetic, Ethan, begging for attention. Maybe if you acted like a man instead of whining all the time, I'd feel something." Her words struck harder than I expected. I froze, chest tightening, wanting to defend myself, to remind her of all the years I had stood by her, through job changes, through depression, through everything. But I said nothing. In that moment, I realized I'd been begging for scraps of love, validation, and attention that I should have been giving myself. The next morning, she acted as if nothing had happened. She made coffee, hummed softly, even asked if I wanted breakfast. I watched her move through the kitchen, like she hadn't just gutted me the night before. That's when something shifted. A quiet voice inside me whispered that I was done trying. I didn't announce it. I didn't make a scene. I simply stopped reaching out, stopped asking, stopped hoping she would change. I focused on work, returned to the gym, started reading at night instead of waiting for her. And, oddly enough, she noticed. "Why are you so quiet lately?" she asked one evening, a hint of confusion in her tone. I smiled faintly. "Just tired, I guess." What I really meant was, I'm tired of being the only one who cares. It marked the beginning of the end, though neither of us knew how fast things would change. Days became weeks, and my silence began to unsettle her more than my pleading ever had. She would glance at me across the dinner table, expecting me to start a conversation, but I stayed calm, quietly eating my food. The man who once begged for her affection was gone. In his place was someone she didn't recognize, a man no longer orbiting her moods. At first, she brushed it off, but soon I noticed her trying. "Want to watch something together tonight?" Or heading to bed early again? Her tone wasn't warm, just cautious, testing the waters, unsure what had changed. The real turning point came one Saturday night at her friend's birthday party. I hadn't wanted to go, but she insisted. "It'll be fun," she said, tugging my arm with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I gave in. The venue was crowded, music low, laughter spilling from every corner. I hovered near the bar with a drink while she mingled with friends. At one point, I overheard a tall brunette named Claire teasing her. "So, how's Ethan these days? Still all over you?" Lily laughed, a loud, cruel sound. "Oh, please. He used to beg for intimacy. Now he's probably too busy sulking to even try." The word struck like a slap, but this time I felt no anger, only clarity. I realized I had been a character in her story, a figure to mock whenever it suited her. But this time, her joke held no power. Minutes later, she found me putting my glass down. "Ready to go?" I asked calmly. "Already?" "The night just started," she said, blinking in surprise. "For you, maybe." I replied, meeting her eyes. "For me, it's over." She frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" I didn't answer. I simply left. That night, for the first time in months, I slept in peace. No anger, no sadness, just a quiet calm. The next morning, I packed a small bag and drove to my brother's place. When Lily called, I didn't answer. Her text came later, confused at first, then frustrated, finally desperate. "Ethan, what's going on? Are you really leaving over something stupid?" I didn't reply. For once, my silence spoke louder than words. It wasn't revenge. It was release. What followed surprised me. 3 days passed before I saw her again. I had turned my phone off, needing space to think. When I returned home to grab a few things, she was there, sitting on the couch in her robe, eyes red and swollen. For the first time in a long while, she didn't look angry or proud. She looked lost. "Ethan," she whispered as I stepped inside. "Where have you been?" I didn't answer immediately, walking past her toward the bedroom. "Just getting my stuff," I said flatly. She followed, voice trembling. "You're not really leaving, are you?" I know I said awful things, but I didn't mean them. I was just mad. I stopped and met her eyes. "No, Lily, you meant them. Every word. For months, you made me feel small, unwanted, pathetic. And the worst part is, I believed you." Her lips quivered. "Ethan, please don't do this. I messed up. I know I did." I sighed. "It's not about one night or one comment. It's about every night I tried to love you, and you made me feel like a burden. You mocked me to your friends. You called me weak for wanting connection. I'm done begging for something that should have been ours from the start." Tears filled her eyes. She stepped forward, reaching for my arm. I stepped back. "I never thought you'd actually walk away," she whispered. "That's the thing," I said softly. "Neither did I." When I left that day, she didn't chase me. But the messages started coming a week later, long, emotional, full of regret. "I can't stop thinking about you. I hate myself for what I said. Please, can we try again?" I didn't reply the most. I had started living differently, running every morning, reconnecting with friends, smiling again. I had found peace in the quiet I once feared. Months later, she sent a final message. "You were right. I treated you like a fool because I didn't realize how much I'd already lost." I stared at the screen a long moment before deleting it, not out of spite, but for closure. By then, I had learned something important. When you stop begging for love, you create room for self-respect. And sometimes, the sweetest revenge isn't anger or payback. It's peace. She mocked me once for begging for intimacy, but now she was the one reaching for something that no longer existed.